So I recently bought these wheels. They are 17 inch by 8 ET30 from a BMW X3, and these are gonna replace my now 19 inch wheels, but with different tires. I'll show you that later. Just had the tires taken off, so here are the wheels. Let's go check out the tires that are going on. Here are the tires. These are 285 70 R17. So these are 32.8 inches tall. Hey guys, good morning. It's Sunday. My friend lent me his garage so I can work on the X5 since I don't have access to a garage anymore since I changed careers for my daily job. So today I'm gonna be installing the lift kit. I've already done it on the right rear and installed the 285/70 R17 tire, and it fits and I don't see it rubbing anywhere, so that's awesome. So I'm gonna show you how I did it on the other side. So let's do that. First off, you wanna jack up the car. There are pads under here that you wanna put the jack on. If you don't want to have a power wrench, you wanna loosen the lug nuts before you lift it. But since I have a power wrench, a power tool to loosen the wheel, I'm just gonna lift it right away off the ground. And then loosen the lug nuts with the power tool. Then you can take off the wheel and put it to the side. Then you want to secure it with a jack stand. I'm gonna put it under the mount there, like this. And then loosen down the jack slowly, because I'm gonna need the jack later to lift up and down the suspension while I work on it. So now we're in here. You wanna loosen up this nut, and the bottom stabilizer link and shock mount bolt, and also the brake caliper and the lines on top of this link here, so nothing stretches when you're stretching it out. So I'm gonna start by taking the caliper off and the lines here, strap the caliper, hang it around here, and then loosen up these two, the shock mount, which is a go-through bolt, so it's here and all the way through to here, and then I need to have the jack under and lift it up to take these out and to maneuver about. So taking this spring out is going to be pretty easy because it's a lowering spring, but it's a bit more work to install the other spring with an adjuster. It's also good to disconnect the headlight height adjuster, because if you don't, you're gonna break the arm like I did on the other side. So there's only a height adjuster on one side, on the right side in my car, so just remember to disconnect that. So I want to start by cleaning the ends up a little bit. And the stabilizer link. I spray a little bit of rust looser on the threads before I move them around, loosening up these plastics that hold the brake line. There we go. And here as well. Just be gentle with it, otherwise you will break it. There we go. Then this should come loose. Like this. Then I need to take these caps off for the bolts that hold the brake. And then it's a 7mm hexagon that holds the caliber. Remove this brake caliber clip here. And then should come loose. Maybe the brake pads are a little bit stiff to come out. Then we can hang this up here. Just do this, just like this, hang it up so it doesn't go anywhere or is in your way. Then we can take out the stabilizer link, and right here loosen that bolt. And on the inside there's if you have original ends, and some aftermarket have like, so you can put a key here on the other side while you're loosening the bolt. Now it's off. And there's also a washer. I put all the bolts away where you can find them again, so everything is much easier. can take the key. Then next up are these bolts. This nut here and this nut here, and while you loosen this bolt you need to hold this still. This is 21 millimeter and this is 10 millimeter, and then over here it's 16 millimeter and I don't know, 6 or 7 millimeter, but I just use a vice grip to hold this one because it's so small. So you hold it like this and then screw the nut off the link. Now this one is out. Took a little bit of elbow grease, but it's out. Then it's this one, and I use a vice grip on the end and then the 16 millimeter on the nut. Now that the nut is off the link over there, it's good to remove this. It's on a bracket back there, just to have more slack when you're moving this down. So now the only thing left to loosen up is the strut bolt, and then we can kind of start moving things down and loosening the spindles out of the mounting points. Then I have to have a key on the other side to hold it while I loosen it up. There we go, it's off. I can remove the bolt, which is pretty long. You want to keep the bolt and the nut together. Then we can start loosening things off. Now the end links are out of their place. The shock or strut is out of its place, and the stabilizer end link are out. So now I should be able to lower the jack. Push this down, and there you can see the spring pretty much should be able to pull it out with two hands. Yeah. There we go. We're gonna use the top rubber thing again. So if it falls out, then put it back in. But we're not gonna use the bottom rubber because the height adjustment pad is gonna stay here. Alright, so here's the rear height adjuster. Here's the bottom So this end is gonna sit in that hole like this, and this bolt, this washer and this bolt is gonna come under, tighten this too, so it's gonna be stuck there. To put the spring in, I'm gonna have this in the lowest setting, but I'm gonna put a little bit of anti-seize on the threads, so it's gonna be better if I wanna lift it up or keep it in the lower height. Spread this a little bit on the threads before I go further. Just like this, and then under the rings as well. Then the spring goes on top of this, the other spring end goes inside into the rubber, and then we have to push everything down and try to squeeze it in there, because you don't really have space for spring clamps, so just gonna have to wiggle it in there. So here we have the brand new spring that's gonna go on the rear, and the specs that it came with. The spring goes top off here. Make sure the height adjuster is in the lowest setting so it's easier to squeeze it in. Then we have to push this down. Get the spring up to the rubber. I think I've managed to get it somewhat in close to getting into the rubber on top. Maybe I need to wiggle it around a bit, but yeah, it's so instead of pushing down here, I pushed it in a little bit when the spring was getting kind of straight, and then I was able to squeeze it a little bit further, and then I should be able to wiggle it with a screwdriver. Yes, it's getting further. Yeah, boy. Almost into place. There we go. It's sitting right. And upstairs as well. Right. Then we need to lift this guy up a little bit and to the side to be able to put the bolt in, because the threads are right above the axle, so we need to move this bottom spring bracket a little bit to the side and up so we can have some space to screw the fastener on the bottom side. So I managed to get a block in between here, and it's a little bit to the side. I'm not sure if it's enough, but I'm gonna put some anti-seize on the threads and try to bolt it in from the bottom. It's gonna be a tight squeeze. So the bolt under there, I already got it in, but I need to tighten it. It's a 10mm hex. So now I can remove the block I put and then lift it up. I guess it fell into place. Now it's time to put everything in place, the links into their place here, and then the stabilizer link into the bracket there, and the shock into its place there. Now that the links are tightened, the shock nut is tightened, the end link is tightened, then it's just to put the brake line and the sensor line in its place in the brackets, and then we are pretty much finished here. I'm gonna keep it in the lowest setting and see how it is compared to the front when I finish there. Finish the lines, put the caliper back on with the brake pads, and then it's good here. Now everything is back together here. Caliper on, everything torqued. Then we can just put the wheel on and we are finished with the rear. Wheel is back on. Now we can lower it down and we have a lift. It's much taller than it was. Pretty cool. So the camera died. I finished with the rear as you saw, and then I was gonna move up front, but I got the wrong top hats in the front, the wrong top spacers. Apparently they got mixed up in powder coating and some other guy got my top hats, but they're being sent to me and I'm sending the other ones back, so it's gonna be worked out in maybe a week or two, since I'm in Iceland and the company is in the US, so we'll see. But thanks for watching, and I see you in the next video where we're gonna lift up the front.